deeper, those patents may not necessarily be relevant for the revenue that you're building, etc. So I think it's important that you create the right IP, which is important for your business. So I think, but it's an important thing. I think India needs to do much more than what it is doing right now in terms of IP-led businesses.
And by the way, I want to say I was at my BW Legal World Global Legal Leaders Summit, and enforceability of contracts and is so weak in India.
Yeah.
So you need to have better governance, better lawyer, and the founder's understanding of the market potential of the IP, what part of the IP,
Yeah.
so that you need good attorneys. Quick question, you want gentleman there? Yes.
Vikram sir, you gave a very valuable advice, like how our entrepreneurs can pitch investors for pre-series round or series A round. My question to you is that what is the best time, like when an entrepreneur should invest a venture capitalist, or
Are you married, single?
I am single.
What is the best time to get married?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just asking a question.
It's a very people to people thing, as you know said. I think it's a personal connect, and ideally, it's a journey. It's not just a transaction, right? So you don't go to a pitch session and expect that after that pitch somebody will shake hands and say, hey, here's the funds. Usually you want to know your investor, and you want the investor to know you. So usually it's a journey over a period of time. I personally spend a lot of time with people I invest in. So, I like to spend time with them and understand them as people, their, general, how do they behave in certain things, not just what do they do outside of work. I spend time on that as well, not just what they're doing with their business model, what kind of people they are, so it's more of a building a personal rapport. It's important for both, because it's like a marriage, it's a long journey.
Just if I may give you a serious answer, see, you have to figure out if your cost of capital is cheaper than the cost of acquisition money, customer acquisition money, maybe you can take debt. If it depends on you, eventually equity is the most costliest form, right? You're giving away equity in your company. There'll be other people who have point of view. Unless until you want to establish an evaluation benchmark. Depends on if you want to sell the company, you don't want to sell the company. So I think it's very, it depends on what stage your business is. And these days, burn is not looked at least for an indefinite period of time. You have to have a definite path to profitability. So I'm sure as an entrepreneur, you'll figure that out. In life, there is no perfect answer, perfect time, perfect. It's always a trade-off. You can do one and and not do another. So I'll leave it at that. At this point, we'd like to get both the found. Please give Vikram a big round of applause. And also, we'd like to get Parth and Mr. Mohan to join the panel. If we may have you. I know there is a 28% tax on gaming, at least for now, but I'm sure we'll get better. We can get two more chairs. Bring it on. Please give Parth and Mr. Mohan a big round of applause. They've come from Bangalore, right? You both are based in Bangalore, right? So we'll start with you, Parth. I know about your company, but for the benefit of the audience, I'm sure everyone knows, but you may want to briefly introduce.
Sure. So Stan is we're doing some bits of Web3 in gaming, I would say. Listening to Vikram and everybody talking about the real value proposition, I'll try to do justice to that. So gaming is always advanced in any which way forward in terms of technology, right? We talk about metaverse and everything. We already are in a metaverse in gaming, right? So what Stan does is we're a community play for esports gamers. It's a derivative on top of the famous esports IPs. I'm sure all of you would know about PUBG, Free Fire and all. Even Mr. Narendra Modi also said someday PUBG wala hai, right? So the guys who play these games.
Aajkal sabji wale zyada paise bana rahe hain. PUBG wale kam.
So the guys who play these games, they form their community on Stan, and there's stuff to do with digital collectibles and NFTs of esports and gaming, and with which they go through various formats of gamification on the app, and they get their needs and wants fulfilled. In a nutshell, the gamers have a couple of needs. They look at earning in-game currencies or real money or fan rewards. Like, I want to play with the best guy in the country, right? So all those needs and wants of a gamer is getting fulfilled on Stan through a digital collectibles layer, which is gamified.
Fantastic. Mr. Mohan, there are more mics.
All right, so Dive is a company that is focused on enabling enterprise adoption of Web3 technologies. Sorry.
You're working, just keep it close.
Yeah. So we're really focused on enabling that enterprise Web3 technology adoption. And when we say that, it is about like it's a new infrastructure piece that is coming in and which has to work with what exists today. So it is not like we replace everything and then build everything from scratch. It has to leverage what is in there and then kind of bring in additional capabilities that is more aligned with data and how do we have control and ownership on top of the data, and how do we build better experience for the consumers. And some of the things that Vikram pointed out earlier is very critical in a way that when you talk about leveraging the existing framework, that also means leveraging the existing skills, right? Okay, we cannot be saying that, okay, oh, there need to be a new set of skills that need to be there, and that's only developers, or that's only people who can actually play in this domain. We also make sure that, okay, yeah, so the enablement needs to be at different layers. So at Dive, we kind of focus on all those areas to make sure that, okay, yeah, it can work with existing things, and it can also bring in new experiences for the consumers.
Let me start with you. As I was preparing for the sessions, and I do prepare, not to come across to my colleagues, but I do prepare maniacally. Okay, I saw a couple of posts. It take me 15 minutes to work, see what your company is doing, and I saw you've been putting up very happy posts with your investor, right? Any secret of that?
I think like we all heard, it's a journey.
Right.
So, and like you said, what time you want to get married, right? So I chose it to be, day zero in my life.
Some get married multiple times.
But there's always some whom you love more than the others, right? So I think that relationship is something which I really value, and also learning from our.
And so on a serious note, what has worked for your relationship with your investor, and give us a sense, give us a real sense of it beyond cliches.
It's more like partnership, I feel, right? It's not just the money we are taking. I extremely believe that, especially let's say me, I'm giving the max, the most important time of my life to this company or the brand, right? And I'm giving away some part of it to an individual or a fund who's going to support us in terms of finances. So it's basically really, important, and we need to figure out whether that's the right partner to have, right? It's more like a partnership, and we need to first learn that what's the expectations are like from, both, like they need to understand how we look at growing it, how, their investors' returns, right? And also what else apart from capital is something which can be valued, and what we need to learn from them, right? They've been spending good enough time, like Vikram was mentioning, right? So all those ancillary stuff apart from the capital is something which I completely take as the first thing, and then the capital definitely is the second thing, right? So and especially in Web3, like we are all discussing about it.
They take equity for that also, for the advice? Because I do.
I mean, honestly,
next time you should put 5% away.
Honestly, the money, gives you returns, but actually you are giving equity.
I'm glad it's music. I always say that advice is the most important point. Mentorship, and you should give mentorship equity. I wrote a piece 12 years back called Introduction Capital. I mean, introductions can change your life. The right introduction, the wrong can break you in personal life or professional life. But so, do you really value the non-money inputs that you get from your investor?
Absolutely. And I think I've learned it the hard way that you have to juice it out, you have to suck it out. They're not going to come to you and tell, hey, what do you need from us, right? You have to go and learn. You have to keep channelizing your questions and, stuff so that you can actually get that real value coming out of it.
And in the last few months have been tough in terms of raising future capital. I'm not talking you or your company. Have we talked about the environment?
Generally, yeah.
What is your outlook as a founder of a company in this space, which is at the intersection of gaming and Web3, both very hot areas?
Yeah, I think like Vikram said, that right things are getting invested, right? Interesting piece is that all of us have, as founders, have started talking the real fundamental stuff about business, right? Profit, lower CACs, lower burns, and everything which is music to ears for everybody, right? For investors specifically, right? Because the era of crazy burn, blitz scaling is probably not.
It's one of my favorite books still, but
right. So that's something which is interesting, and I as the founder is also enjoying that, honestly. Like, it's making us push the limits as well, but actually helping us do the right thing, right? And that will definitely be valued. If not today, maybe a couple of months down the line. That and if you're doing things right, people will invest in you. People will partner up.
And what about, how do you see this game tax on gaming?
That's an interesting topic to talk about. I mean,
comment.
Yeah, interestingly, if you look at RMG, real money gaming, that's where it starts from, right? So I ran a real money gaming before